Welcome to Lesson 13. This lesson takes place in central New York City. A long straight on the main street ends in a 90-degree corner. Take 2 slow laps around this course. As before, you'll be given plenty of time, so consider it a laid-back tour of the city. But don't be too complacent. Contact with the course boundaries means automatic disqualification. You'll be tempted to floor the accelerator on the long straight, but make sure you bring your speed down enough to take the upcoming 90-degree corner. Just as you learned in Lesson 11, remember the surrounding buildings and other signs that signify where you need to start braking. Also, be sure to drive up on the curb on the corners. Once you can create a mental picture of the course in your head, you'll be close to your goal. By pushing the R3 button on the right analog stick, you can, if you wish, turn off the ideal line indicator. Once you get used to it, try racing with this indicator turned off. Best of luck! Welcome to Lesson 14. This lesson takes place on a section of the New York street course where two 90-degree corners are positioned consecutively, creating a double apex hairpin corner. In this lesson, you'll practice high-speed cornering on this hairpin. For double apex corners, it's best to treat the two corners as one. The racing line emphasises corner exit speed. The trick is to ignore the first of the 90-degree corners and perfectly clip the second. This will result in the best speed possible for the upcoming straight. When you get a feel for it, try turning off the ideal line indicator. Good luck with this lesson. Welcome to Lesson 15. Once again, this challenge is set on the New York street course. This time, you'll learn how to take single 90-degree corners at high speeds. City courses are composed almost entirely of 90-degree corners, so this is your chance to learn how best to take them. The basic line is the standard out-in-out trajectory, which you've already learned about. However, in a city course, the boundaries are guardrails and other obstacles, so you'll have to take the bull by the horns to get full advantage of the breadth of the course. Things get even more tricky when you exit a turn with the accelerator floored because of the extra speed. In professional racing, it's crucial to use the entire course width to your advantage. Practice repeatedly until you can precisely follow the ideal line. Focus on taking a smooth line that goes right up against both the inside and the outside boundaries of the course. Now, best of luck with the lesson. Welcome to Lesson 16. This lesson takes place on the Fuji International Speedway, with which you should now be very familiar. This time, you'll learn how to correctly enter corner 1 after the straight. You've already learned how to handle high-speed braking in Lesson 11. Well, this time around, you'll practice braking at the right point needed to clear corner 1. In the lesson with the stopping area, all you needed to do was apply the brakes. However, this time, you have to take a corner after you brake, making the timing that much more difficult. Try approaching the task in this order. First, begin by determining how low your speed needs to be to take the corner. Then, once you've determined the entrance speed, you can find the point at which you need to begin braking to reach that speed at just the right point. If you look closely, you'll notice that corner 1 is in fact 2 small corners. Notice that this makes for a unique racing line. Good luck! Now for the next coffee break. For this stage, 20 cones have been spread out across the gymkhana in the driving park. As before, the object is to touch all the cones as fast as possible. Firstly, just drive around any way you like. Once you've been around a few times, you'll get an idea of the position of the cones. Then you can work out the most efficient way of hitting them in the shortest possible time without having to double back on yourself. Enjoy your coffee break. Welcome to Lesson 17. This lesson is the first outing on the dirt track for some time. You'll be practicing high-speed cornering on the fast section of the Grand Canyon. You've learned that by tapping the brake as you turn, the car will begin to drift. By using the drift method, it's possible to turn the angle of the car without steering. Mastering this technique can lead to faster cornering. Begin to turn at the entrance to the curve and apply the brake. This causes the car to slip sideways and start to drift. Next, gradually accelerate and determine the amount needed to maintain the drift. If the back wheels slip too far and the car swivels beyond the intended direction, steer the car in the direction that the back wheels are sliding. This technique is called counter-steering. Practice this acceleration and counter-steering until you're able to control the drift at will. Best of luck with the lesson. Welcome to Lesson 18. This lesson takes place on the tricky town course in Italy. It's difficult to envisage the proper line on blind corners with low visibility, but with this lesson you can master the techniques needed to navigate such non-standard corners. When you're faced with corners that, in addition to having bad visibility, become sharper from mid-turn, it's hard to work out how to tackle them. When you enter a corner under such conditions, don't rush to take the line. Stay close to the middle of the course and get a good look at what lies ahead. The best thing to do is get back on the racing line and accelerate only after the track visibility improves. Attempting this halfway through the corner is bound to fail and won't improve your time. The trick is to wait and see how things pan out, and near the end, accelerate correctly and reposition yourself on the racing line. Take care. Welcome to Lesson 19. For this lesson, you'll be driving on the beginner's course in the driving park that you encountered in the first lesson. Of course, this time you'll be practicing something new, negotiating chicanes. Chicanes are small, opposing corners positioned on the track to force you to slow down. Your job is to complete 2 laps on this course as fast as possible through the chicanes positioned in the middle of the straight. You've had plenty of practice through small and large corners, so this time you'll need to work on taking the chicanes. See how well you can trace the ideal racing line. You'll do okay if you minimise steering from the entrance through to the exit and manoeuvre with a good rhythm. If you accelerate roughly or steer too hard during the chicanes, the car will handle poorly and you won't be able to follow the line. Remember the advice of the first lesson and keep your steering to a minimum. Best of luck! Nice work. You've completed the blue section. Now you're ready for the red section. Think you can handle it?